So we've all had our fabulously long Christmas. I hope everyone had a great one and a happy new year. And we're all back to our main normal lives, or as normal as 2021 can be. I'd like to say am I kidding, but who the hell knows. In this video, we're going to take a deep dive into creating a good story title. One that's gripping and telling, but not so much so that it gives away the plot. Hi, I'm Jess Bagnall, author of Secrets and Erotic Fairy Tales of the Brothers Grimm. Stick around for this video, it will be packed full of useful and a fantastic opportunity to win this month's giveaway. How to write a good story title. Okay, this may seem like a small thing and a fairly obvious thing, maybe meaningless part of the story, but get ready, it's really not. Believe it or not, it actually has a significant impact on the story or book itself. How it's perceived can give away the genre, and sometimes this can impact whether or not someone will actually pick up your book and buy it or pass it on by. Fortunately, or unfortunately as it may be, it's often the title that draws people in. That whole don't judge a book by its cover thing, yeah, they be judging. So as tempting as it is to throw something out there and just hope to God that it sticks, don't do it. Don't do it. It's a bad idea. Let's start by drawing inspiration from the story itself. The theme, for example. So how do we start our journey to this awe-inspiring title? First, we're going to draw inspiration from a key theme of our story. You can use a major plot line for this. Think about the emotions that it elicits, or does it run thick with death? How about love and devotion? What about grief? Feel the story out and think about what words inspire titles, what evokes that theme. For example, and this is a favourite of mine, if Red Riding Hood were to be stuck in a post-apocalyptical, plagued world with zombies, other than the obvious that I can't mention for copyright reasons, Walking Red can be elicited from this visual. What if we named it after a place in our book? If emotions aren't what comes to mind when thinking of a title, what about a particular place or a landmark? If you have a central location where the big bad will eventually show its ugly self, or a specific thing that plays a central role in the story, consider using that as your title. For example, I'm going to use something that I'm currently working on for an upcoming horror anthology. And I won't be giving away many spoilers. I don't actually have a title for this just yet, so this might actually help me decide. The centre, the main location of my main character, where she will ultimately meet her demise, is in a field and she's placed on an altar. So maybe the altar or the 13th altar would make a brilliant impact on where I hope the story will go, and it will also bring it to life. How about the pivotal event? Choose the title inspired by a main event in the story, so the push that makes the character unable to go back to their normal life. That thing that changes everything forever. That thing where the character will no longer be able to say, I wish I could go back to way back when. Take a story that aims for the character to remember what they did in order to survive. Never forget elicits a visual needed for a story like this. Another option is to base it off of a character. Naming the title after a character can provoke a kind of compelling simplicity to the title, though it helps if the name is more notable, more memorable. Harry Potter does this well. How about a line of your story? If none of these are working for you, find yourself a favourite line or a particular character quote. or any kind of quote, and try that on for size. Something memorable again, something particularly clever and original. You can't just go willy-nilly on those bloody sentences, they wouldn't work. Though be careful on this one, for it must capture the theme as well, or an important element of your story. You can't go around using grass, it wouldn't work. Or perhaps a version of a quote for your title, something that simplifies it if it's too long. For example, novels like To Kill a Mockingbird, they shoot horses, don't they? Are all based on lines from the story themselves. Next, let's take a look at drawing inspiration from elsewhere. So not the characters, but something in the book or something you get from, for example, research. What is the one thing you were always told to do while studying in college or school or university? Research, 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 and I stand by this. You won't get anywhere if you don't research. It is the key to everything, especially creative writing. Take inventory of key elements on your story and look for clues, particularly objects or locations specific to that story. Say, for instance, your story centers around a hunk of rock or a stone with a symbol in it. Now remember, I'm a lover of Vikings. And say this stone was etched with a symbol that's the stone that's been passed down for generations after generation and was said to protect you. You might research the rune for Vikings. They used them for protection, health, among other things. That we could make a whole massive list of these things. One of them was to find your way back, to guide them back like a compass, but they could use one symbol. So you might try your story title rune guide or protection of the rune. Yes, it's very cliche, but you get the point really. How about looking for inspiration on your shelves, for example? Why not check your own bookshelf? I'm not saying look at your own books. It's a little weird if you title them after your own stuff. But what about your favourite books by other authors? Take inspiration from other creative writers. Write down what jumps out to you, titles, whose title drew you in. Compare it with a list of your own for your own story. Try to find the common factors between them. For example, do they appeal to the senses? Do they appeal to the reader's imagination? Now, for this, the reader will be you as well as your other readers. Another way is use allusion, not illusion, allusion. This is a reference to a phrase taken from another source, like another literary work, a song or something like a commonplace, a brand or a slogan, something everyone will know when they hear it. Many authors have taken inspiration from classics such as lines like Macbeth, where others have drawn it from local sayings and slang. For example, the London Cockney saying, queer as a clockwork orange, which inspired Anthony Burgess' A Clockwork Orange. This slang was taken from before World War II, implying a queerness or madness so extreme as to subvert nature, I believe, whereas other authors have used allusions to popular culture, using slogans and brands to fixate a title. Before we go any further, I have an exciting giveaway available for you. Blood in the Mirror. This is one of my first horror anthologies. It is available until the end of January, and then it will run its year-long course and be unavailable. If you want to be involved in this giveaway, just click the link below and the winner will be announced at the end of the month. Now that we have covered the how-to, let's move on to avoiding common mistakes. How about we go to genre appropriate? Create a title that fits with the genre you're writing. Seems fairly obvious, but it will avoid outrage. Readers can get a little overwhelmed by this sort of thing and confusion can be caused. Choose one that's appropriate. For example, if your title sounds like an erotic, like Lick of Life or Bear for You, but your story is in fact a horrific tale of loss and tragedy, you'll alienate those who pick up your work and miss out on those who would potentially become an avid reader of yours. Also, I don't think your readers are going to appreciate that. Limit the length. Length is a biggie for titles. Too long and it becomes a mouthful, tongue twisters. Too short, you run the risk of it being unmemorable. It should be brief but impactful. Women runs from family in magical wolfskin is less compelling to a potential reader than Skinwalker, which is shorter and far more imaginative. Make it interesting. Language is tricky but beautiful. Make a title interesting by making use of poetic language available to us all. Vivid imagery or a bit of mystery tend to be quite alluring to readers. They conjure something tangible and meaningful. Imbuing your title with mystery can draw the reader in. Everyone loves a good imaginative mystery. Hook them with the title. Alliteration. Use it with caution. Use it sparingly. Make it subtle and easy to read. We may have an abundance of alliteration available to us. However, that doesn't mean that we have to go over the top too much and it just sounds like gobbledygook. No one will read that, no one will pick up that title. Let's face it. I hope this has helped you on your quest for a good story title. Stay tuned for more writing advice every week. And don't forget to subscribe, click that bell button to receive notifications every week, and check out my other social media platforms.